My dude is a night owl, I am not. I have a strict sleep schedule and sleep with a weighted blanket. Knowing my dude was going to play some Eve, I asked for some smooches and a tuck-in. No, I did not replace the F with a T. We do the tuck-in thing most nights as he likes to stay up past 11, I try not to so that I can function. My dude was a little extra zealous, swinging one blanket and then another. He was the matador of blankets. Perfect arched blankets to fall so sweetly on my tired body. Until the weighted blanket, 12 pounds of sleepy goodness swang into my face. Crunch bean baggy smack. I have a slight red mark and a gut ache from laughing, but no worse for the wear. Title: TIFU by not evacuating for a hurricane early enough. And ending up in a shelter with lions. I shared this story before on Reddit a long time ago, but someone told me it belongs in this sub. This happened within the past few years. Not gonna name the hurricane or the zoo, because I don't want the zoo to get hate mail about the treatment of animals or anything, when really they did a phenomenal job with this being during a hurricane, and don't wanna out the zookeeper who helped me. So, my brother, M22, his girlfriend, F22, and I, F18, all living together, had been looking at the spaghetti models, and thought the hurricane was going to miss us, but about a day before it was going to hit, we realized we were fucked. We were reluctant to evacuate because we had no money and didn't want to miss work, but we began to panic when we realized the roads were all clogged and it was too late to get out. Now, most people in this situation would probably go to whatever public shelter the local officials were running, but this wasn't an option for us. Turns out that these shelters were IDing people on the way in, and certain convicted felons were not allowed in, for public safety concerns. My brother was a convicted felon, different story, who was barred. They offered to house such people in the prison instead until the hurricane passed, but he was adamant that he was never going back there and he'd rather rough it out in our basement and try to survive here than end up back in jail. And his girlfriend wasn't going to leave him, and I didn't want to either. The hours passed, with us panicking and unsure what to do, until his girlfriend got a crazy idea. Her best friend was a zookeeper at the zoo just down the road, and she remembered hearing how the animals would be safe in the super secure concrete nighthouses they were all secured in. She called her best friend, who was already out of state and evacuated, to see if we'd be able to somehow stay in an animal nighthouse, since we had nowhere else to go and it would be safe. It took a lot of begging and pleading and negotiating. As I understand it, my brother's girlfriend was told that all the nighthouses were at nearly full capacity, some packed more than they ever should be, to house all the animals and keep them all safe. The only nighthouses with any extra space were ones containing particularly dangerous animals, such as lions, where there was a separate room adjacent to the animals for keepers to transfer them into to clean the other room, to handle them without having to get one-on-one contact, etc. I'm probably describing this poorly, but for those who have been to some zoos you probably know the kind of structure I mean, an adjacent room for keepers to handle the animals from behind a fence. So if we were going to do this, we'd have to stay in there. Reluctantly, after promising not to tell anyone and his girlfriend crying about how we were all going to die, she sighed and agreed and gave us the access code to the employee-only gate and instructions for how to get in and lock the door behind us. I was shocked she agreed, but the keeper and my brother's girlfriend must have really trusted each other. So we set off, with 4 days' worth of snacks and drinks, some electronics for entertainment, and sleeping bags, and walked half a mile down the road to the zoo. The wind was already starting to pick up around now, probably around 20 miles per hour. We got through the gate, found the lion house as described, and entered, locking the door behind us. It was certainly a secure concrete bunker. But the first thing that hit us when we entered was the stench. It was almost unbearable. I had never thought of lions as particularly smelly animals before, but good God. It smelled like rotten meat and the most horridly foul cat litter box times a million. We were all retching as we came in and spread our out sleeping bags on our side of the enclosure, which was probably about 20 feet by 10 feet. We were separated from 14 lions by nothing more than what was basically a double chain link fence. We tried to play cards, or talk, or random stuff to lighten the mood and have some fun, but it was a truly intimidating, repulsive environment. On one hand, it was pretty awe-inspiring getting to be so close to so many lions, but on the other, hearing them grunt, roar, seeing one occasionally thrash at the chain-link fence to get at us, we were no more than 4 feet from a lion at some points. Watching and smelling them piss and shit all over the place. It was really overwhelming at times. It was much worse at night. Apparently the keepers had set a timer before they left to turn out the lights at a certain time to keep the lions on their regular day-night cycle. It was just about pitch black, and for those that don't know, lions' eyes glow in the dark. Seeing those eyes staring at us in the night was one of the most terrifying experiences of my life. Well, long story short, we stayed in there for a few days and then walked home. The whole place was pretty much still evacuated, but the worst of the storm was over, and we had promised to leave before people started coming back. Our house was beaten down pretty bad. Title: TIFU by listening to music on Spotify, happened less than an hour ago. I was on my couch fucking around on Spotify when I noticed that I was still able to connect to my mom's Sonos speakers after playing DJ the other night at dinner. So I clicked on Connect to Kitchen, thinking it wouldn't work, but hey presto, it did. I immediately shut it off thinking I might have given my mother a bit of a fright, but then completely forgot about it. Well, turns out I gave her more than just a fright. She was literally just walking in the door when I pressed play and the music came on at full blast. Thinking there was someone in the house, my dear 61-year-old mother turned and ran away bawling her eyes out, dove into the car, locked the doors and reversed down to the bottom of the driveway where she could keep an eye on the house from a distance while she called the police. Police came, searched the house, and gave the all clear. Finally I get a call from her about 10 minutes ago explaining the whole situation and had to tell this poor woman that it was not, in fact, a burglar that has excellent taste in 1980s Italian disco. Title: TIFU by walking in on my mum masturbating. Today is my mum's birthday, so I figured I would surprise her with breakfast in bed. I got up early and rustled up a nice cooked breakfast with a croissant and a glass of orange juice on the side. I also thought it would be a nice idea to get my younger siblings involved so that we could sing happy birthday to her as we entered. Anyway, I opened the door and moved swiftly in and... Look, you've read the title. I'm not gonna go too much into it. All I will say is that very little was left to the imagination. Cold sweat smile, she let out a panicked squeal, almost like a hiccup. I frantically apologized and turned to guide the other two away before they saw anything, spilling the orange juice in the process. The little ones were confused. I thought we were going to sing happy birthday. I told them it would have to wait. Mummy isn't decent. Luckily, they shrugged it off and lost interest. I knocked on the door. Is the coast clear? She told me I could come in. The poor woman was so apologetic. I'm so sorry you had to see that. I told her it was my fault for barging in without telling her. I apologized for the spilled orange juice and went to get her a new glass. She was very gracious about it all, which I was happy about. At least I know now never to walk in on people without knocking, regardless of whether you want to surprise them or not. Gathered my younger siblings and walked into Mum's bedroom. She was a little preoccupied. Managed to stop the younger ones from entering. They were disappointed they couldn't sing happy birthday but got over it pretty fast. I entered again, knocking this time, and gave her the breakfast. Had to refill the orange just as it spilled everywhere in the chaos. Title: TIFU by addressing my boyfriend's best friend as babe by mistake in front of him. I am so embarrassed. Me F19 and my boyfriend are best friends. Everyone knows we're dating, but we act like buddies in public and lovers in private. So because of that, when we're in public, I am buddies with all of his friends. We hang out as a group all the time and they treat me more like a bro than someone's girlfriend. I'm very comfortable in his friend group and I think he appreciates that. I've never gotten too comfortable, if you know what I mean. All of my friendships with the boys are mutually platonic, so there's no worry of me flirting or being flirted with in any interaction. I don't even flirt with my boyfriend when we're in the boys' presence. We aren't PDA enthusiasts anyways. So I guess, when we're all together, we treat each other like one of the guys. In this scenario, I guess I was tired and confused my language. Me and the boys were hanging out. My BF included. We got to the McDonald's drive-thru late in the night and BF's other best friend, we'll call him Tom, was picking a lane but one had cones blocking it. So when he tried pulling into that one, I yelled, "No, not that one. No, babe." My face turned pink and I immediately start stuttering and saying, "Wait, no, I didn't mean no." Tom started joking like, whoa, I'm flattered but. And I was trying to redeem myself and apologize for my slip-up. But my boyfriend was saying, "Oh, I see how it is. Tom, how dare you, my girlfriend." I was so embarrassed and I felt so bad, like I said, "Babe," with my whole chest clown face. The rest of the night, Tom kept calling me, "Babe," just to rub it in that I fucked up. And my boyfriend kept addressing Tom as my other boyfriend. Epic facepalm on my part.